Leaders of the world's biggest economies, all in Australia for their annual G20 summit. Going to take a look at some pictures now. You see Russia's President Vladimir Putin, Brazil's recently re-elected President Dilma Rousseff there as well, and U.S. President Barack Obama, all in attendance. There are just a few of the dignitaries arriving there in Brisbane. For more on the G20 summit and the preparations it's taken for the last 2 years to get ready for these world leaders, well, let's cross over to CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg. He is in Brisbane with more. Roee.
Indeed, and some of the events have already kicked off here. The leaders attending a retreat at the state's Parliament House. We're expecting in a few hours Tony Abbott, the Australian Prime Minister, to officially kick off the G20 here as the host. All of this happening, of course, amid growing security preparations and concerns. The organizers here quite mindful of the 2006 G20 in Melbourne, where there were clashes with police. 2009 there in Pittsburgh in the U.S., where some 190 people were arrested. In 2010, a firebomb thrown at a bank. Very mindful of the security here, saying that the safety of the leaders is a top priority.
It's considered the largest peacetime security operation in Australia's modern history. Thousands of police officers, a cordoned-off security zone, road closures, metal detectors, and foreign reinforcement. As leaders from the world's major economies arrive in Brisbane, each with their own security detail.
We've looked at the attacks that have occurred in Canada and the United Kingdom and the USA. They are clearly building an operation which will prevent any type of complex terrorist scenario unfolding, but they are still concerned at the possibility of what we call a lone actor carrying out a more rudimentary and lower scale attack.
At least one man has already been arrested for threatening the U.S. President Barack Obama online. Police say they're also scouring the internet for threats from militant Islamists. And security officials say they're also concerned over mounting local criticism of Russia's President Vladimir Putin. This following the downing earlier this year of a commercial flight in Ukraine that killed nearly 300 people, 28 of them Australian. The state's police commissioner, Ian Stewart, says he is confident the security measures put in place will work, but added there's always cause for worry.
Certainly the world's a smaller place these days, and something that happens, say, in Syria or in Europe or in America does have an effect on us in making sure that this event is conducted in a safe and dignified way.
Security officials say they have been coordinating with dozens of groups who will be protesting the G20. They're hoping to ensure the groups do so peacefully. Even those demonstrating what they say is mistreatment by the police say they'll cooperate.
If violence erupts, no one gets hurt. All they see is an ugly picture of who we are as a race of peoples. And we're not ugly. We don't want to paint a picture of ugliness. We just want to get the voice of truth that we carry within our own lives out to the public.
The government spent some $500 million on this, some of that going towards security. They say they want to ensure that the safety of the leaders here are protected. They're mindful of events from the past. They want this G20 to be remembered, but not for that.
Roee, climate change is not officially on the summit agenda, but there are some rumblings that perhaps it will be something up for discussion. What are you hearing there?
Well, people have already put it on the agenda, despite the Australian Prime Minister's best effort to keep it off at least as one of the key agenda items. We don't expect it to be in the final communique issued on Sunday. Tony Abbott was quite clear that this will be a jobs and economic growth summit, saying that the final communique should be no more than 1 page, believing that previous summits weren't filtered enough ahead of time and thus caused lots of confusion and didn't provide enough progress. But many coming here wanted to see climate change as one of the key agenda items. And if I could just bring you a quote we've just gotten from the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who's been speaking here before the events have kicked off, saying climate change is the defining issue of our times and leaders should focus much more on this. So Ban Ki-moon calling on those in attendance here, including the Australian Prime Minister, to do more to combat climate change. And if I could just give you one more additional note, we've just heard from the Chinese Vice Finance Minister here, speaking, of course, finance and economics being a big part here, suggesting that China may become the host of the 2016 G20, saying that will be decided here at the summit. We'll have, of course, more news on that when this summit ends and the final communique is issued.
All right, Roee Ruttenberg, live for us in Brisbane. Thanks so much.